You might think menopause only starts with hot flushes. And the truth is, the early signs of menopause can actually show up in more than 30 different ways. And they can happen long before your periods stop. It's a bit like a light bulb that doesn't suddenly switch off, but instead it starts flickering. And those little flickers often show up in your emotions, your mood, and even your sleep before anything else. In this video, you'll discover the answers to 3 big questions. Firstly, what are the earliest mental health signs of perimenopause? Second, how can you tell if what you're feeling is hormones and it's not just stress? And third, what can you do to start feeling better? So let's start with those early signs of perimenopause that affect your mental health. And for many women, one of the first things that they notice, that's irritability. You might find yourself snapping at people for no reason or getting wound up over the tiniest of things. Maybe someone's chewing too loudly, or perhaps that just suddenly feels really unbearable. Or maybe you explode at your partner for leaving their socks on the floor again. Now, if that feels out of character for you, it could be one of those first flickers of perimenopause. Another very common sign is anxiety, and this often feels as though it just suddenly appears out of nowhere. You might find yourself lying in bed, worrying about things that you've never worried about before. Your heart races, your mind won't switch off, and you feel uneasy for no clear reason. And the frustrating part is that it doesn't always respond to the usual stress relievers. You could be doing all of the right things. You could be eating well, exercising, meditating, and still feel that knot in your stomach. Mood swings, they're another classic. 1 minute you're calm and collected, and the next you're angry, upset, or even tearful, and you just don't know why. You can feel like your emotions, they're on fast forward, changing scene after scene without any warning. Women often say to me, I don't recognise myself anymore. And that's a very, very real, very unsettling part of early menopause. Then there's the flatness, that joyless, just going through the motions, that feeling where you may still be doing all of the things that you've always done, spending time with loved ones, going out with friends, even enjoying hobbies, but it just all feels muted. And it can feel isolating. That joy just isn't there anymore, especially when everyone around you seems to be laughing and enjoying themselves, and you're just not feeling it. And brain fog is another big one. This isn't just about forgetting where you put your keys. It's losing your train of thought mid-sentence, struggling to find the right word, or reading the same paragraph 3 times and still not taking it in. Women describe it as not being able to think straight, and it can be very distressing, especially if you've always prided yourself on being sharp. Now, along with brain fog, many women notice their attention span shrinking. You might find it harder to focus on a conversation, follow a TV program, or stay with a task at work. And of course, when your focus goes, it can really knock your confidence. Tearfulness can creep in too. Suddenly you're crying at adverts, bursting into tears at work, or finding that tiny things, they just set you off. And sometimes it feels like you're always on the verge of tears, even if nothing in particular has happened. If you're usually someone who keeps it all together, this can be really unsettling. And sleep also becomes a challenge, but not always in the way you expect. You might lie awake with your mind racing, unable to switch off, or perhaps you wake in the middle of the night and you can't get back to sleep. The problem isn't just the lack of rest, it's the toll it takes on your mental health the next day. When you're tired, every little stress feels bigger. And finally, many women notice a new emotional sensitivity. Maybe you used to brush off a comment, but now it stings. Or maybe you replay a conversation in your head for hours, worrying about what someone really meant. It's like your emotional skin has become thinner and the world feels harsher than it used to. Now let's talk about why all of this happens. Estrogen and progesterone, they don't just control your periods. They're also deeply connected to your brain. They influence the chemicals that regulate your mood, like serotonin, dopamine, and GABA. So when those hormones start to fluctuate, as they do in early perimenopause, the ripple effect can touch every part of your mental and emotional well-being. And this is also why so many women are prescribed antidepressants or anxiety medication at this stage. But the reality is, if hormones are driving these changes, medication doesn't always work as expected. And sometimes the side effects can actually make you feel worse. Now that's why it's so important to know that this isn't a character flaw and it's not you losing control. It's your brain responding to natural changes in your hormones. But how do you know if it's perimenopause and not just stress? After all, life's busy and it's easy to assume that stress is to blame. And the difference is this: stress tends to ease when you rest, when you take care of yourself, or you get through a busy patch. Perimenopause symptoms are different. They come in waves. They can feel unpredictable. And crucially, they don't fully go away even when you're doing all of the right things. And so many women have told me things like, I've tried yoga, I went to bed early, I ate well, but I still didn't feel right. And that's usually the moment when the penny drops, that something deeper is happening. And hormones are playing a big, big role. So what can you do right now? First, get informed. Just knowing that these changes are early signs of menopause, they can be such a relief. And it stops you blaming yourself and it gives you a sense of clarity. Secondly, keep track of what's going on for you. Write down when you feel anxious, when you feel foggy or tearful, and look for patterns. Sometimes seeing it in black and white, it helps you to connect the dots in a way that feels empowering rather than frightening. Third, support yourself with gentle, natural methods that work with your mind and your body. Clinical hypnotherapy is one option that's proven to help with stress, anxiety, and sleep. And it doesn't come with any negative side effects. Many women find that it gives them a sense of calm, almost like pressing pause on that mental chaos. And of course, talk to your doctor, especially if your symptoms are severe or if they're affecting your daily life. Even just opening the conversation can be a huge step forward. Now that you know those early signs of menopause to look out for, the next step is to understand what you can actually do to feel calmer and more in control. So in my next video, I'll show you how clinical hypnotherapy supports your mind and body together so that you can begin to feel better faster. You can watch that here now.